Well, hello there, friends. All you market traders and profit takers. This is your Forex University Professor at your forexuniversity.com, and we're going to take a review and a forecast of the week ending with the Forex US Pairs, week ending August the 15th, 2014. Let's take a look over here. We're going to really quickly review the session of the week. We ended the week trading with the quick view at 466 pips. Full contracts, that's $4,660 per contract. That's nice. And we had a really nice week. We only had a few expenses that we wound up paying. Simply, it just worked out. Nice day, nice week. Um, there were a couple of even spots where we were able to hedge on the pound on Tuesday and then on Friday with the Japanese yen. We had some signals there, and the quick view allowed us to do that. That's great. Lots of black. I love seeing black. Very few. We only had three spots of red, and they were very small. And that's the way we like to see it happen. Let's move on over to the charts and see what we've got coming and where we've been. Right now, this is the Aussie on a weekly chart, and we're seeing it still in that consolidated area. However, there is a bearishness involved. But at the same time, see, this is the thing about consolidation. It's like 50-50 because, yes, we're bearish because we've gotten the low below this close that broke underneath the trend line. However, now we have this bullish, uh, almost a harami. It's almost a harami. It's just that the body is not inside of this previous week's body. But you see, it is an inside bar completely, where the highs and the lows are within the highs and lows of the previous week, which means that, well, we might see some more reversal to the upside. Okay, it depends on how it works out. We've got to watch these levels. One of the levels we're going to be watching is the level of this trend line around this, somewhere around this 93.58 area, somewhere in there. Um, that if that shows up in the well, and also we got to pay attention to where we got this cross here at the 93.95 area, and we also have a level here where we're looking at the top end with this section price right in here, getting right there. That's very much where we topped out this week, actually, around this 93.40-ish or so. So that's what's going on. We're at the bottom here of a channel right now. Are we going to break beneath it? Is the momentum strong enough to the downside? We have to wait it out to see. Let the quick view day by day work that out. Now, let's do this. Let's jump down to a 4-hour chart, get a little closer in and see if we can see anything from that. Well, let me zoom, get it a little bit more. I need more data here. All right. And well, this week it's been pretty much an uptrend. And the uptrend this week on this 4-hour candle has shown that it is not about to give us any signals of turning back, at the moment at least. If you take a look here, you'll see that we did close below the trend line, but nowhere near broke that low, which means we have to readjust it to here now. We actually could move it to here. So there's the trend line for the 4-hour, and if you also notice that it did break its downturn when we had this trend line and this running trend line here from the previous week. When did that happen? That would have been around Tuesday or so, right here with the close above and breaking the high. And that was, like I said, that yes, that was on the 12th, which would have been Tuesday. So that's the Australian dollar right now, still having in the short term, a bullish sentiment, more so than bearish, even though in the longer term we did see this break below the low of the close that broke the trend line, below the trend line. But because we're in a channel and the short-term bullishness is still showing up, we have to remember that. We have to keep that sentiment. I'm just trying to get rid of this trend line real quick. Okay. Let's move on over to the Euro weekly chart and see what's going on there. We're still in downturn, but look, we're getting all these tweezer bottoms for the last 3 weeks. What does that mean? That means there may be some buying taking place. Are we? Well, we're caught between a long-term Fibonacci level of between again 25, and we haven't quite reached the 382 yet. We still have pressure coming down on us, and we're going to see whether or not that holds. We might see some tweezer tops that push back to the bottom here until we can get to a good support level around this 382. Obviously, there's something going on right in this area here of this one. What is this? 133.79-ish level. As you can see back here last year, it was a level here that we found as resistance that turned into support. Okay, but we got to be careful that we don't take everything like that as necessarily. You just don't take it for granted all the time. This could be a support level. This could be some buying. It's obvious that some buying is going on down here. It just depends on whether or not it's going to turn out to be profitable or not. Might have some aggressive traders taking this in. I'm not so sure I would say that the banks are necessarily the leaders in this, because it would be a little bit stronger than that. And but we'll see. Like I said, this is really the support level I'm looking at right in here on the 132.35-ish areas. In the meantime, we just have to keep an eye on it. Now we might get a head fake coming up, reaching somewhere around the 134.80s. And fall back, which would be very symmetrical with what's been happening so far. Be a nice measured move there. Let's take a look over here at the pound now, and the pound is falling down. It hasn't made it to this 25 GAN retracement yet, around the 165.98 to 16600 yet. We might see that this week. We've got a real strong move heading back to make some corrections on the pound. And as far as resistance goes, we might see something come back somewhere around this low here, or even as high back as this area here, where we've got these double red lines of resistance at 168.35-ish. On to the Kiwi. The Kiwi is also showing signs of being at a support level, along with as the euro is shown, and as well as the Aussie. The Aussie, obviously the strongest of the pairs right now that oppose the dollar. Right here, this is a bullish move here. That is bullish looking at it. It is on that level of support, holding right now, as well as a trend line coming up to meet it. So we'll see. Let's move into a 4-hour on that and get a closer look. Okay, well, let's draw a trend line. It didn't break, so there it did, right here. So, and let's put in a Fibonacci on this and see what kind of retracement we're looking at from this point back. Okay, somewhere we could see this come to 84.55-ish or so, and take a bounce to make us a quick little profit on this off of this 4-hour chart. But right now it is trying to make a bullish move, because of the long term, however, downside that's been happening. If you go back to your weekly, you'll see that 4-hour chart, that little break to the upside might not hold. It might not hold because of this quick hard momentum coming down. Remember, we're coming off of all-time highs from about 5 weeks ago. It needs to find a good area of support. It seems like this might work out to be a good area of support. If it reacts to it this week in an upswing, then maybe so, before we get back to these areas here around the high 85s to 86s or so. But again, we do have good support here. with this level coming across here at the 84.27 as well as the trend line. Let me get rid of this one. We don't need that. All right. So in the meantime, like I say, especially when we get into situations where you're in that transitional move, it's very important to pay close attention to what your quick view is telling you and line it up. You know, you line up the signals and keep an eye on those levels that come in daily. Make sure that they're not, not that they're not, but make sure that they are lining up with what we see on the long term with the weekly charts. Let's move over to the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar has reached a point of a top. It's at a point where it wants to correct. As we can see here, by this past week, we started heading back down, looking for some support. Doesn't mean that we're in a bearish move. We're still bullish because we're still above our levels here, above our trends. But we got to be careful because this is where some selling was unable to hold out. We were unable to hold out with this selling right in this area here from earlier part of the year, and that's where we're touching into that area right now. So we might be out of sellers. We don't know. We'll see. We might pick up some buying once we can get a good retracement going. So retracement, we've got a retracement level right here at 107.47, 107.50. There's also some retracement areas up a little bit higher around 108.15 and again around 108.75, which we're already there, but that's kind of quick, I'd say. That's not a really good support level. I think the best support level is back down here in the 107.42s or so. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Frank looks like it wants to turn back for real. Well, look at the tweets. Just again, we got to remember the franc is the opposite of the euro, so to speak, in terms of how they move. And just like we've got those tweezer bottoms at the bottom of a move on the euro, we've got tweezer tops at the top of a range on the franc, and we're looking for a move back to the downside on the franc. We'll probably see somewhere around this 89.40-ish area as an area of support for that. We'll just have to watch and see. 80, what was that again? What did I say? 89.40s, all right? And finally, let's take a look at this yen. There, look at that. Look at that bullish harami though. We've got a small little bullish harami going on. It's coming up. Notice that last week we hit that cross area here at the 101.69 and made a move back up to close out the week. And now we're in a bullish harami inside bar for the week. So we'll see whether or not we can continue on with the bullishness with that bullish harami and move forward from there. I'm thinking, yeah, we'll probably see it move up again. I'd like to, simply because of this support. Remember, we talked about this so many times. This support right here, it's just not letting itself fall through there at all. We might, before it could ever consider doing that, it's going to need to bounce off of this top again, I think. We just need to find a place where we can run out of sellers enough to where we can send it down. In the meantime, we're collecting people. This is collection buying going on here. So you have to ride the wave, you know. It's been a long wave all year this year with this yen. This yen has really been very narrow in its range. Let's take a quick look at it on a 4-hour chart just while we're here and see what we get. Okay, well, last week we were moving to the downside, as you can see. When did it make a way to the upside? Well, actually, it was at the beginning of the week on Monday. It was the first move to do that, and now let's see how that fare. Had a few closes below, unable to breach them, and still unable to breach. As you look, the first move here, it closed below, but it couldn't break the low after the close below the trend line. Once again, it did it here, closed below the trend line, couldn't break that low. It just kept moving, easing its way forward. Now all of a sudden we're in this area here. Notice these lines across here, this area and this area. These are places where we are looking at resistance, and it met it certainly in the last few hours, last 8 hours or so of the trading session on Friday. It fell, hit the trend line, this long-term trend line here, came back for a minute, got a little move in here, a little rally in here, never broke that low. Now, part of that is because it was Friday and it was the last 4 hours of the trading session for the whole week, so it wasn't a lot going on. So, you know, what are you going to do with that? So let's just move this here and see how it goes. It's starting to parallel its way off a little bit with the long-term trend line to the upside that's coming in here. All right, so, and what this does also is it gives us a few levels to look at, like here, and even here. Now, what I'm going to do before I close, I'm going to go back to this line so that I can see what I'm doing for this. I'm going to put another line right there. Right there. Oh, look at that. Look at the little channel it made in here. Isn't that interesting? Notice the week before last, we had this area right in here. This is a place where the buying pushed all the prices up. Now we're back into selling, push the prices down. We might see some channeling in between this area for a minute for the beginning of the week. We will see something. One of these highs and lows should break somewhere between here and here this week coming up. All right, that's an interesting setup that's going on here with the yen. It's keeping us in suspense. It's time for a commercial break, you know. When we come back, all right, when we do, yeah, you know, when we come back next week, we're going to see something, and I'm very confident that QuickView will let us know ahead of time, and I'm sure the more you use it, the more confident you'll become. So until next week, I hope all of your trading is profitable. I'm sure it will be when you learn to use the QuickView. All right, this is your Forex University Professor at yourforexuniversity.com. I'll see you on the next time around.